All right, I have 6 o'clock, so we will call this meeting of the Sparks Planning Commission to order. May we please have the roll?
Commissioner Fritos?
Here.
Commissioner West?
Here.
Commissioner Andriola?
Present.
Commissioner Carey?
Greetings from Tonopah.
Commissioner Kramer?
Here.
Commissioner Rawson?
Here.
Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Assistant City Attorney Brandon Kendall?
Here.
City Planner Jim Wendell?
Here. All right, so we have everybody, so we will move on to item 3, which is our first public comment section. Does any member of the public wish to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none, we will close public comment and move on to item 4, approval of the agenda. What?
Go ahead.
All right, so moving to item 4, approval of the agenda. Any discussion? Nope, then looking for a motion. Have a motion by Commissioner Kramer and a second by Commissioner Andriola. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, please record your vote. And Commissioner Carey, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item 5, approval of the minutes, consideration and possible approval of the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting on November 18th of 2021. Looking for a motion.
Mr. Chair, this is Commissioner Carey.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate what staff is doing with these new set of meeting minutes. I know this is the first time we've gone away from the transcribed meeting minutes. I just, looking through them, one thing I think is missing is it looked like in terms of the discussion and questions that were asked by the commission, the minutes lump the entire commission together. Like the commission asked for this, the commission stated that. For me, I think I think it might be good to provide direction to staff and table these meeting minutes and have staff go back and take a look and put in the meeting minutes who asked the specific, which member of the commission asked the questions and which member of the commission stated. It's not that big of a deal for this set of meeting minutes. However, the meeting minutes are the official record of the commission. And I think in terms of public transparency, it's good to not lump the commission into kind of one body, but put in specifically individually which commissioner said what in questions. So if you'll entertain it, I make a motion to table the meeting minutes and provide direction as stated on the record.
Okay, is there any second to Commissioner Carey's motion?
Mr. Chair, I think the awkwardness of the phone call and then the meeting, you actually have a motion on the floor, and I think that Commissioner Carey's comments could be considered as comments about the motion.
Okay.
But Mr. Attorney?
There it goes. Yeah, it is the difficulty of having the spoken system with this, especially with having Commissioner Carey joining us remotely and not seeing that there was a motion.
In typical protocol, I think the chair would have, we wouldn't have put that motion up there because he spoke instantly when you identified it. So potentially, Mr. Sendall, would this motion not be valid that's on the screen?
I didn't see if that motion came up before Commissioner Carey was speaking. I don't know if anybody else did.
He spoke right at the beginning of the item, I think.
Yeah, then if Commissioner Carey was explaining a motion and began on that, then I believe Commissioner Carey's motion would prevail.
Okay.
Yeah, and my apologies, Mr. Chairman, about that. I kind of jumped the gun on the motion. I guess I could withdraw the motion and, just have those be my comments and see what the rest of my colleagues think. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right. Commissioner Carey, could you restate your motion?
Yeah, I'll give this another chance. I move to table the meeting minutes of November 18, 2021, with the direction to staff to revise the meeting minutes to reflect which individual members of the commission asked specific questions and stated specific things, as opposed to how the commission is lumped together into one.
All right, is there a second? Sorry, the motion is being typed up, Commissioner Carey.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, now looking for a second. Okay,
there we go.
we have a motion by Commissioner Carey and a second from Commissioner Rawson. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, move to a vote. Commissioner Carey, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 5-2. Commissioners Reed and Kramer voting in the negative. Motion is approved. So moving on to item number 6, our public hearing items. We only have one tonight. Take it away, Danny.
Move the microphone over to me. Okay. So, good evening, Chair Pritzos, members of the Planning Commission. I am Danny Ray with the Planning Division, here to present this item to you today. Excuse me, papers are stuck. There we go. So the project site is located right here in this 9.19 acre parcel that is outlined in red. It is generally north of I-80, west of Legends Bay Drive, south of Lincoln, East Lincoln Way and Marina Gateway, and east of Windsurfer Drive. I apologize, there's no label on this one. It's also adjacent to the Harbor Cove Apartments, Life at Sparks Marina Apartments located here, the Azure Apartments, and a recently approved Azure 2 apartment building. So the application is for 247 multifamily residential units, of which 124 will be townhomes and 123 are proposed to be apartments. The Legends Handbook has always allowed multifamily developments within the planned development, and it does, the construction of the multifamily developments requires approval of the CUP by the Planning Commission. In the latter part of last year, the City Council approved the handbook amendment that this body recommended approval to the City Council for, which approved the reduction in the required minimum density for multifamily for the MF5 development standards, which are 34 dwelling units per unit. It approved a reduction to 24 dwelling units per unit. I mean, per acre. There we go. So this was done in anticipation of this particular development. That handbook amendment also changed some of the other standards related to parking, to casino signage, hotel signage, and other housekeeping items. So this proposed 247 residential unit project has a density of 26.9, which exceeds that minimum 24 dwelling unit per acre. The 3-story townhomes are proposed along the frontage, which you can see here along Windsurfer Drive and East Lincoln Way, and then in the interior of the project area. And this, the townhome buildings are shown here in blue. The 5-story apartment building is here on the eastern corner, which is shown here in pink, and is also across the street from that recently approved 5-story Azure 2 building, which is approved, since it's not in the Legends Handbook, does not require a conditional use permit. That was approved through the administrative review process. Let's see. So in the green area, shown here on the map, we have our amenity buildings, which are 1-story, adjacent to the 3-story townhomes and the 5-story apartments. So we have a variety of scales shown in here. And in this amenity area are buildings such as a lounge and a kitchen area and a gym. There's also a swimming pool and fire pit and pickleball court and other landscaping areas, barbecue and so forth, and a dog park. It totals 10 amenities for this particular site, which is very generous for this area. And as you see the brown lines going through here, this is the trail system, which is really the pedestrian connectivity, not only throughout the site, but around the site, and as you see, heading towards the Legends development itself. So it makes the most of the opportunity, the pedestrian opportunity in the mixed-use district at this particular location. So I have a little bit better detail on this drawing than what you saw at the study session, which was a little bit difficult to read. So this is close-up elevations of the townhomes. This is the view from the interior of the site, which has the garages and then the townhomes. There's groups of 3 or groups of 4. And this is the street side from East Lincoln Way and from Windsurfer, which has street access to these units. There's little patio walls there, but these are where the private patios are and the direct entrance from the street and sidewalk areas. So there will be 2 and 3 bedroom units. The 2 bedroom is 1,153 square feet, and the 3 bedroom 1,620 square feet. And there'll be 1 or 2 attached garages, which is integral to the design. Also did the same for the 5-story multifamily structure, so you could have a little bit more clarity and understand some of the scale. It's, like I said, located on that eastern portion of the site. So there's a mix of studio, 1 bedroom, and 2 bedroom apartments in here. The building will be 65 feet tall, 65 feet 5 inches tall, or 5 stories. And garages are provided on that first level, as well as surface parking. So both the townhomes and the apartment building are contemporary in design and compatible with developments and nearby developments of the existing multifamily developments that surround this project and the hotels that are within Legends in design, materials, and colors. So as you can see here, there are significant vertical, horizontal, and dimensional articulation, which provides the visual interest and compatibility with surrounding architecture, including on the pedestrian level, as you can see right along here. So this is an internal view of the amenity site with the single-story buildings for various amenity uses, including the swimming pool. And we do have the color and materials board with various types of brick and block and wood and metal and the concrete fiber board, all in earth tones. Landscaping does include the required buffer wall that was recently included in that handbook amendment that we just did this last year, including a 10-foot landscaping buffer, which is this area right along here, to protect the more sensitive use from the commercial use right behind it, or to the south of it. This plan does provide 20% of the site area as landscaping, including a minimum of 160 trees, which is a mix of evergreen and deciduous trees. The plan does provide the required parking area landscaping. As you can see, it's every 10 parking spaces. There is a landscape island along with the required tree. Parking spaces total 379, which is 1.53 parking spaces per residential unit. The Sparks Municipal Code requires 1 per unit, so this does allow for more of that parking. Okay, so now I'm going to transition over to the findings. Thankfully, there are only 5, so hopefully this won't take too long. Finding C1 is concerned with conformance with the comprehensive plan. Proposed development does build on the purpose of the MUC, or mixed use district, mixed use commercial, land use designation, which is to provide a mix of high density, pedestrian friendly, residential, commercial, and entertainment uses near designated activity centers. The proposed development lies adjacent to an activity center, which is at the intersection of East Lincoln Way and Marina Gateway. So this is in conformance with the desired density where these activity centers lie. The Legends at Sparks Marina Plan Development does present a unique opportunity, providing for a diversity of uses and compact development, thereby preserving responsible fiscal growth patterns that reduce infrastructure and service costs, supporting goals MG2, MG6, MG7, and MG11. Finding C2 is concerned with compatibility and surrounding properties. The proposed townhome and multifamily development is similar in scale, density, architectural style to the existing multifamily projects to the north and west. In addition, the project provides architectural compatibility with the hotel projects to the south and other buildings located within the Legends Plan development. Architectural elevations will be reviewed and approved by staff prior to issuance of a building permit, which is condition number 4, ensuring that the elevations comply with those in this CUP. And both the landscaping and buffering ensure that the residents of the project will be provided privacy and visual separation from adjacent commercial uses, that the buildings will be enhanced with enhanced landscape streetscape. Staff supports the project as compatible with the surrounding uses. Finding C3 is concerned with impacts to natural resources. The site is currently undeveloped and is surrounded by both commercial and residential development and has been a part of the Legends Plan development since 2005. While water and sanitary sewer infrastructure meet the demands are present adjacent to the site, documentation demonstrating sufficient capacity will be required prior to issuance of any building permit. And staff therefore does not believe that approval of the CUP to allow 247-unit multifamily development would impair the availability of natural resources or the region's ability to support its population. Finding C4 is concerned with identifying impacts. The parking requirement for this use, 1 space per unit, or 247 spaces. The developer is providing 379 parking spaces, which represents approximately 1.5 spaces per residential unit. This increased number of parking spaces is based on the applicant's analysis of parking needs for similar projects they've developed. Staff will review the submitted improvement plans for conformance with the CUP, and that's condition number 1. Traffic impact study demonstrates trip generation of 1,685 daily trips, 100 AM peak hour trips, and 128 PM peak hour trips. The intersection of Marina Gateway Drive and East Lincoln Way is projected to have a level of service of C by the year 2050. which includes the anticipated trips for this project. The roadway has excess capacity and will not require off-site improvements to meet the capacity demands. Washoe County School District states that the area schools will not be impacted negatively and that they have capacity. Projected number of students will be 17 at the Lincoln Park Elementary School, 8 students at Dilworth Middle School, and 7 students at Sparks High School. That's in Exhibit 6. Public notice was given as required by the Sparks Municipal Code and the Nevada Revised Statutes. Planning Commission meeting functions as the public hearing for this item. This request was noticed at a minimum to all property owners within 500 feet of the subject site. A total of 192 notices were mailed to property owners on February 2nd. And public notice was also published in the Reno Gazette Journal on February 2nd. Staff has received 2 public comment letters in opposition to the project as of today, and they are included in your packets. Staff is recommending approval of this application. This concludes my presentation, and I am happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions for staff at this time? Commissioner Carey, any questions for staff?
No questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, would the applicant like to make any additional comments at this time?
I'd like to just brief couple words and kind of give you our vision. And then I've got our team here who's much brighter than I can answer any details that you guys think. We'll keep it brief.
And as for the record, could you state your name?
Yeah, my name is Orville Power with Mon Investments, a developer.
So just real quick, I'm Stacy Huggins with Wood Rogers. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I was going to give a very brief PowerPoint, but Danny really covered everything. And so aside of the applicant, Orville, giving you a little bit of additional information about his vision and how this project came to be, I'm not going to repeat the information that Danny gave, but again, I'm happy to answer any questions. Our engineer's here, the architect is here. So if you have questions afterwards, we're all available to answer them.
Okay, good evening. My name is Orville Power with Mon Investments. Again, I just want to give you kind of a quick summary of our vision. We were introduced to this property a little less than a year ago, and upon going on, we came to you guys before for a density reduction. And I don't think that was ever fully explained the purpose of that. What we're ultimately wanting to develop here is what I'll call kind of a comprehensive community. So this development has everything from studios up to 3-bedroom townhomes. So if you're a renter and you go to this community, there's a studio, there's a 1-bed, there's a 2-bed, there's a townhome, and additionally to that, right, our focus was really getting in some good townhome housing stock, because what we found is there's this large supply of multifamily being built, not just in Sparks, but throughout the Reno MSA, and it's all stacked flat units, right? So it's a unit stacked on top of each other, and we feel that the townhome living is a stronger way of living, and it's for younger families or for couples. So big drivers for us in this type of product is a garage. So it's really hard to find a rental house with a garage, and we think it's super important. So anyway, so that was really the driver, is how do we get this kind of wide spectrum of rental housing in here? And the density that was there previously was 34 dwelling units per acre. And there was no way we could bring in a townhome type product. So that was the previous request for the density reduction. Let's see, and so then, the basis of it, right, is the whole community kind of is around this amenity village, which, Danny referenced. It's pretty enhanced, and the concept is whether you're renting over in the taller stacked flat building, which we have, or the townhomes, this is kind of your core amenity area that's shared for everybody. And then there was some The other request that we had really in the handbook amendment that we needed to make this project work was there was previously a requirement to have a buffer wall all along Windsurfer Drive here. And this product, you have your front door that's facing Windsurfer. So if you have a 6-foot concrete wall straight outside your front door, you really don't have that same streetscape and access. So the reduction in density and the buffer wall, we actually moved the buffer wall. So the buffer wall came from Windsurfer, and now it's down here between the RV dealership. But overall, we're here. We like your guys' support. We're really excited about the project. We think it's something different. We think it's not really competitive with all the other multifamily that's going in. And my architect and designer here, they can take you through some more of the fine details on the product. But thank you for hearing us tonight.
All right, thank you. Oh, do you want to add something?
Paulie DiBartolo, project designer here with the project architect Tanin. I just wanted to flip through these slides real quick to give you this one, just to give you a bit of context. This is a really unique shaped property that has a lot of different activations around it. And so one of the additional layers of complexity on this site marked in red here is a utility easement through the property. So in addition to an interesting shape, in addition to the different uses around us, the different scales of projects, the different activations of projects, whether it be retail, hotel, residential, and so on, we had this diagonal line through the site as well, which we used as an opportunity to have our product, everything to the west of that utility easement, be at a lower scale, which was more compatible and relatable to the adjacent projects along Windsurfer and a little further along East Lincoln, and then use that line to delineate where we kind of ramp it up a little bit and start to connect with the scale of the adjacent projects, the hotels and so on, as kind of a gateway element at the east end of our property. So for us, it was really simple. We had a great client with a great brief. I think you've got a great city staff. They were very easy to work with. We enjoyed that. We tried to respond accordingly, I think appropriately and sensitively to what's in the area rather than just come in and do as much as possible in something that may have been somewhat out of scale or inappropriate. So we just tried to take the keys of the community and plan out the site appropriately for that. And I'll leave it at that and answer any questions if you like. Thank you.
All right, are there any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Carey, any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had one. Looking through the application, it states that the project will be geared towards middle-income individuals and provide workforce housing. I read recently from a study that said that the median sales price for an existing home in Sparks is $520,000. And I appreciate the presentation and the housing type that you're trying to bring to this area. I know it's early in the development stage. You probably don't have pricing, but I was wondering if you could elaborate on what you mean by middle-income workforce housing.
Yeah, so let me clarify a bit. So all of this product is rental housing. So none of it is for sale housing. And our strategy from a workforce housing perspective is we believe that we can come through with Paulie, who brings in this really cool kind of Australian design concept, and we do a smaller unit size, right? So a studio is 480 square feet, but we design it so it lives really well. Your one bedroom is 600 square feet versus being an 800 square foot bedroom, and your 2-bedroom may be 850, 900 square feet. And so what that allows us to do is bring in a lower overall price point. You still have your 2 bedrooms, you still have a good living area, but a 2-bedroom apartment doesn't need to be 1,250 square feet, so you're pushing the top rent in the market. So that's really the workforce housing component of it. And then, followed by the, rental townhomes. There's some people who can't afford to purchase a home, but, they deserve a little yard, they deserve a garage, and it provides them, a rental housing stock. So that's the definition of workforce housing in our mind.
Thank you. That's helpful. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, this is a public hearing item. So at this opportunity, I will invite any members of the public who wish to speak on this item. Does anyone wish to speak on this item? Okay, seeing none, we will close public comment.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Just to remind you, we received 2 letters for public comment. They are in your packet, and you're able to review them if you so choose. But they're in your packet. And they're attached under the public comment component on your computer.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Commissioner Carey, were you able to see the public comments?
Which exhibit was that?
It would be 3.1.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. All right, so with that, then I guess I am looking for a motion. Okay, I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Andriola and a second by Commissioner West. Any final discussion?
Chair, just
Yeah.
mainly for the people watching,
Oh.
if there's anybody watching on the live stream, I'd recommend doing an actual verbal motion in addition to
Oh,
this. I mean, with the new system, it's weird doing both, but just to make sure we make a clean record.
Fair enough.4Commissioner Andriola, want to read your motion?
Sure. I move to approve the conditional use permit CU 21-0004 associated with PCN 20-0047, adopting findings C1 through C5 and the facts supporting these findings as set forth in the staff report, subject to the 10 conditions of approval as listed in the staff report.
All right, thank you. So we have the motion by Commissioner Andriola, second by Commissioner West. Any discussion? Commissioner
I do,
Carey.
Mr. Chair. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I will be supporting the motion. I didn't support the handbook amendment to reduce the density last year. However, with the handbook amendment in place, and I feel that staff's done a good job looking at this project, looking at the identified impacts to the conditions of approval and meeting the density that was specifically approved for this property. I also concur with staff's assessment of the required findings, and I think in particular, I think this will help a little bit with advancing policy H2 of our comprehensive plan, which is to provide housing choice. And I certainly appreciate the applicant's information provided tonight, and this is an interesting project to the area. I will be supporting the motion. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any final discussion? Okay, seeing none, please record your vote. And I know you said how you were voting, Commissioner Carey, but for the record, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, we have no general business items tonight, so we will move on to item 8, announcements, presentations, recognition items, and items of special interest, and we will start with staff announcements.
Mr. Chair, Jim Rundle, City Planner. I anticipate that we will host a March 17th meeting next month. I anticipate some items on that agenda to be the annual report for regional planning and potentially a report on that the City Council recently received on the annual report for the city. Additionally, there will be the items for a new chair and vice chair, followed, well, I don't know the actual sequence, but additionally, the rules of procedure, we will agendize those. Legal counsel Sendall will present on those if you have some ideas of how you may want to amend those. And lastly, and there could be other items, but lastly, we will also agendize an item for the appointment or recommendation of the Regional Road Impact Fee Planning Commission member. Currently, it's Shelley is sitting on that item, or on that we recently.
I'm sitting on the item.
Sorry, sitting on that item that was recently. I didn't get to finish. Sitting, she was there on the item that went to City Council recently to be approved. It went to Washoe County Commission, and it went also to City of Reno. But that was on the 7th edition for the regional road impact fee. And the 8th edition will start up soon, and we'll be looking to see who the Planning Commission may want to appoint to serve on the 8th edition. And will we have the Regional Planning Commissioner too? Regional Planning Commissioner. I think we may need to look at our appointments for the Regional Planning Commission as well. So we will look at those expiration dates. Currently, we have Commissioner Carey, Commissioner Reed, and we have Commissioner, I can't see her, West, thank you. Commissioner West on that board. So I think we will need to look at those expiration dates to see when those expire and who needs to be appointed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jim. I'll move on to announcements from commissioners. Any announcements? Commissioner Carey, any announcements?
Yeah, just really quickly wanted to extend my appreciation to staff for the additional work that they're doing with this new agenda system. And thanks for working with me earlier in the week to get the items labeled in the online system. I just wanted to, and I didn't mean to be I didn't mean to be mean to staff on the direction provided on the meeting minutes. Another thing that I've noticed looking at the staff reports is that with the new system, the summary sheet has seemed to have gone away. And what I'm talking about is the summary sheet. That's kind of what I call it, but it's like typically our second page of a staff report, and it has it has bullet points. So it's like, here's the land use, here's the zoning, here's the city council award, here's the applicable sections and code, here's the owner. I always like that, looking at it when reviewing a project, to kind of have that information broken out. I thought it was helpful for the public to look at it too. I'm not sure how we can do it with the new system. Maybe it's a new exhibit or something, but I'd like to see maybe in the future when we're looking at to bring back that summary sheet in the future with this new system. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Carey. Any other announcements?
It's not an announcement. Is this the appropriate time? And if not, I certainly understand. I can wait for my question. But I have a question, a legal question.
I can talk to you after the meeting if you like.
Well, it speaks to actually if there's a requirement legally to have certain components in the minutes. It's an overarching question.
Yeah, I can talk to you after.
Okay, thank you.
And then me and Mr. Rundle can have a conversation with the clerk's office to make sure that we get everything in there we need.
And it's just in terms of what we passed today, and I started thinking a little bit more about it, and I'm not trying to complicate the action that's already been taken, but I'm trying to understand the legality of a request from a legal, but also a request, that you're just interested in additional information and where that line separates. So that's where I'm coming from. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
And point of clarification, Commissioner, you did not approve the minutes today.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. They're tabled.
Yes, you said the minutes we approved today. So I was just clarifying, we didn't approve those.
Let the record reflect that
That
the
we
motion
tabled them.
included tabling, not approving. I was using the word approving minutes in a umbrella way. When they are approved, is there requirements that a separation between what's required versus what is a request of interest for any minutes.
And on that note, for what it's worth, we are bringing the rules of procedure back soon, so it could be something that could be addressed there.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other announcements? All right, and with that, we will move on to item 9, which is our final public comment section of the evening. Does any member of the public wish to speak? Okay, seeing none, we'll close public comment and move on to item 10, which is adjournment. So we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.